Hey everybody and welcome to some Planet Coaster. This is a brand new game which, as of the time of recording this video, is coming out tomorrow, November 17th, 2016, and it's a simulation management game, kind of along the same lines as something like City Skylines, maybe Prison Architect, but in this game, you run a theme park, and you're tasked with keeping it running, making a profit, expanding, growing, and making the best theme park that you could possibly make. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit play, and there are three main modes in the game so far. The modes are a little bit confusing. You've got Career, Sandbox, and Challenge. Now, Challenge is what I would have considered to be the main mode in the game. I'd have thought that would have been up here at the front, but it's not. It's kind of pushed over to the back. Challenge mode, you start with a flat area, a set amount of money, and you can buy items, you can buy roller coasters, you can buy paths, and you can create your own theme park from scratch. Sandbox is the exact same thing, but everything's free. So in Sandbox mode, there's no kind of management to it. You don't have to worry about how much money you've got. You don't have to worry about taking out loans or anything like that. You can just build freely. It's kind of like, I guess, creative mode in Minecraft would be a good scenario there, or playing City Skylines with unlimited funds. You can just go wild, be as creative or uncreative as you'd like, and build what you want. And then Career mode, which is where we're going to start in today's episode, is kind of like Challenge mode, but they give you kind of the base of a theme park. So we're going to start with this, just to kind of show you guys how the game works and get a bit of an understanding myself, because I haven't played too much of the game, of some of the mechanics. So there are a couple of scenarios here, and basically the way that it works is they throw you into a theme park that is already kind of built, and they give you some challenges that you need to accomplish. So you can see it says resume here. I have already tried this a little bit, but I haven't beaten it yet. So we're going to start a new scenario, and it's going to throw us into this theme park. There was a description there that I think I may have missed or didn't read, but I think it will give it us again in just a second here. The duplicate button will clone a selected object or building. Good to know. And I just got 3 achievements as well. Fantastic. All right. Avast, me hearties, and welcome to Planet Coaster. Shiver those timbers and take charge of the explosive Pirate Park. Complete the ride construction and draw crowds and give guests a swashbuckling good time. All right. It's a little bit of flavor text there. So this is our theme park. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. The key bindings by default are a little bit iffy, a little bit not to my taste. By default, you have to press P to pause the game and then O to change the game speed. I've changed that, so mine's spacebar now to press play and pause. You can see down here in the bottom right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to quickly bump up the UI. If I go to interface, you can bump up the user interface a little bit. I'll bump it to 160 just to make it a little easier to kind of show what's happening here. You can also change the color of the UI if you'd like as well, which is pretty nice. But down here in the bottom right, you got the play pause button, and then you also have the change simulation speed button. You can obviously go at speed 1, 2. If I press play. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. I had a bit of an issue with my controls there. The play and pause key rebind didn't work. This is a beta. I should point that out. The version I'm playing right now is a beta build. It's not the full release. That'll be coming out tomorrow. So hopefully some of the issues that you might see in today's episode won't be in the full build, but I can't promise that they might be. But anyway, as I was saying, down here in the bottom right, we've got our toggle pause. I can hit spacebar to pause the simulation or continue resuming it. And we can also change the speed. You can see down here, we've got change simulation speed. I've rebound that to my grave key, so we can have speeds 1, 2, or 3. 3 is nice and fast, and probably how we're going to play quite a bit of this game. And then 1 is obviously just horrifically slow. It's really slow. It takes people quite a while to walk around. The game does look pretty good. It is a little hard to run. The frame rate can be a bit unstable sometimes. I've had to turn a few settings down, but hopefully that gets better with time, and maybe there's a game-ready driver that'll come out at some point. But anyway, this is our theme park. By default, I think we only have 2 rides in this place. We've got this big roller coaster here, which, by the way, is just a huge moneymaker. This thing is real nice to start with. It's going to make us a bunch of money. The roller coaster is kind of centralized here, and you can see when we click on it, there's a bunch of stuff that we can configure about our roller coaster. So it's called the High Seas. We could change that if we want. We could call this, caffeine. Wow, I've got caps lock on. We could call this caffeine craze, like that. It's the caffeine craze. You want to go on this massive ride. We've got the ride details. It tells you what people think of the rides. You can see right now, 46% of the people in our park want to go on the High Seas, and then 38% say that the queue is full. That can actually be a bit of an issue. If we look, I've put the craze. Let me get rid of that. You can see if we come down to here, the queue leading up to the ride goes all the way around here. It's not full just yet, but it probably will fill up pretty quickly. And if people come to the queue, which starts right about here where this lovely gentleman is, if people get to the queue and it's full, they will just turn away and walk back. They won't kind of stand around here. They'll leave, and so they do get a little bit annoyed if they can't queue. And so one thing you do have to kind of keep in mind when setting up your own ride is to make sure that you make a queue that is long enough to kind of support it, because if the queue is too long, people will get annoyed that they have to walk really far, and then if it's not long enough, people will get annoyed that they can't queue for the ride. It's kind of a balancing game that you got to play with all of your roller coasters, and it's fine. You can kind of put down your pass and then break them and relocate them as time goes on if there are issues with it. Like for example over here, look at this thing. So many people walking up to Rocktopus and then just walking away because the line isn't long enough. Thankfully, one thing we can do is we can go to paths over here and we can extend this queue line. So before we do that, I should probably talk about the interface a little bit more. Down in the bottom left, we've got Pirate Battle, which I think is the name of our theme park. We've got $6,733 in the bank. If we hover over it, we can see how much money we're making from rides and attractions, how much we're spending on park management, how much we're making from shops and facilities. Over here, we have our park's ranking, which basically gives us some idea of how good our theme park is. Right now, it has a score of 412. And then over here, we have the number of guests in our theme park, as well as a breakdown of the different demographics that are in our theme park right now. Adult riders, teen riders, and then family riders, all of which behave in a bit of a different way. And then continuing on from there, we have park management, which gives us a bunch of information about our theme park, way more than I've even looked into just yet. But you can see we've got overview, we've got finances, we can see exactly where all of our park management costs are going, staff wages, scenery running costs, all kinds of stuff that we can look into. We've got research, which we'll get to in a second. Marketing, we can start a marketing campaign, we can try and get more people into our park through things like newspaper ads, television ads, online ads, all kinds of stuff. We've got our staff. We should probably hire a janitor pretty quick here. When I was playing off camera, one thing that I did do, which kind of just killed my game, is I didn't hire a janitor and I ran out of money. And if like a ride completely breaks down and you don't have a janitor, not a janitor, if you have a mechanic around, which is this guy here, then you can't get that ride back online. And if it's one of your big rides, for example, if the caffeine craze went down and we didn't have a mechanic around to fix it, then we would have to wait until Rocktopus made enough money for us to hire a janitor in order to get caffeine craze back online. And when your biggest ride goes offline, it's really hard to make money because the park just starts to tank money because it's costing so much to run and not making enough to kind of sustain itself. So I think that's pretty much everything I want to show in park management here. We also have guests. We can see like more of our demographics, really detailed stuff. We can see how much teens are spending on rides, on food and families and all kinds of stuff, how much time they spend in the park, everything, attractions and shops. And then if we go back to overview, we can also set the ticket prices. So right now, the way that our theme park works is people can enter the theme park for free. You can see here, the entrance for the park for standard tickets and for family tickets is completely free. Nobody pays anything to get into the park. You can buy a priority pass, which we'll get to later on down the line. It basically means you can skip the queues if we set it up that way. But the way it works right now is every ride in the theme park costs money. So for example, if we look at finance under Rocktopus, you can see right now it costs $5.50 every time you want to ride the Rocktopus. If we come over to Caffeine Crazed, it costs $20. I think I want that to be Caffeine Crazed, not Caffeine Crazed. Crazed makes no sense. Right now it costs $20 every time you want to ride Caffeine Crazed, which is a little bit ridiculous if you ask me. $20 for one ride on this thing. But surprisingly, if you try and make the rides free and then charge them for a ticket up front, which you can do, you can charge them, say, $20 to get into the park and then make the rides cost nothing. It seems to go down. They don't seem to like that. People kind of prefer, at least in the early game that I've played with, just coming in and paying for every single ride as opposed to coming in and then having every ride for free. I think that might change later on down the line once you get like a really big theme park. You'll see there's a ton of space to build in here. And I think once you get a really big theme park, it might be more beneficial to just charge people on the way in and then have them ride for free. But I haven't played enough to figure that out. So let's go back over here. Let's go to paths and then let's go to queue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of some of these queues here, which you can do really easily just by right clicking. And then I'm going to extend this queue kind of around. You know, we'll bring it around kind of back here. There's also a bunch of tools over here. We can change the length to make it so it does like 5 like little segments at a time. We can change the width to make it really wide or make it really skinny if we want a thinner path. We'll leave it for now at, I think it was 3. We want it to be the same size as the rest of the path. So we'll bring this around. I want it to go a little bit further here, and then we'll kind of connect it up right here at the exit. So this is the entrance to the ride. This is where people get off. And so if they want to get back on, they can just get right back on here and continue on round. And now, if we press play and we speed things up a little bit, you'll see that all these people, some of them who have just finished the ride, will go back on I say that, and I don't think anybody went back on some of them. Sometimes do get back on the ride, but now there is a much longer queue, and so some people who were coming before and then walking away because the queue was full should hopefully now queue up and then eventually get on the Rocktopus ride, which is pretty good. Some of them are walking away. You'll see that's because they don't want to pay the $5.50 that it costs to get on the ride. Some people are fine with that, and they'll pay to get on. And so you do have to kind of tweak your pricing a bit, especially when you start making your own rides. I don't know exactly where to price them, and so I'll put a price in, and if it looks like the majority of people are leaving, then it might be time to lower the price of the ride. But you also do want to bear in mind that you don't want the queues to get too long. And so if I was to change the price of Rocktopus down to say $2, there will be more people interested, but then the queues will get too long, people will get angry, and then it would just become a whole mess. So you do want to kind of tweak the pricing a little bit to make it as fair as possible and to try and get as much money as possible. So that's kind of the basics I've gone through there, and I spent a lot of time talking about all the stuff in the game. What we should look at now is our objectives. So if we go ahead and press objectives over here, these are the objectives that we need to complete in order to beat this little like kind of campaign mission. So there is easy, medium, and hard. We're going to go through for all 3 stars. We're going to try and get all of them. To complete the first star, we need to get 800 guests, and we need to build 2 rides. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, that this over here already counts as a ride. So I think if we build 1 more ride, that should complete that first objective there. You can see it says 1. I'm pretty sure that means we already have the 1 in Rocktopus. This over here counts as a roller coaster, not a ride, so it doesn't actually count as one of the rides towards this like first little objective here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and I keep clicking escape to kind of get rid of menus, and it doesn't really work in this game. So we're going to go to rides, and we're going to build one of these few rides here. We've got $10,000, and we are making money a little bit. You can see right now, the month's just started. And by the way, the day-night cycle, the way that works is you'll get a monthly update of how your park's doing every month, but 1 month is 1 day in game. So as the day-night cycle goes through, when the sun rises again and a new day starts, that's actually a month in game. So there is a day-night cycle, but it doesn't correlate to an actual day. It correlates to a month, which is a little bit confusing, but not too bad. So I think we're going to go with maybe like Insanity. It does show you the excitement, fear, and nausea of all of these rides, and that is something you have to bear in mind. If, for example, nausea is too high, or excitement and fear isn't high enough, people won't really want to go on the ride, especially when you get into building your own roller coasters, because this thing here, you can in fact build your own roller coaster. You can build one of these to look however you like. You can put some really big, really big build-ups and then some really big drops. There are some pre-made ones you can put down that will unlock later on, but you can get to a point where you can build your own roller coaster, which is pretty cool. But for now, let's go ahead and hit play. I'm going to slow things down to like speed 1, so the park's kind of moving around, kind of making a little bit of money. You know, we'll put it on speed 2 whilst we build Insanity. So I'm going to put Insanity, you know, I'm going to disable hints and close this real quick, because I think I know what I'm doing in terms of putting this down. So let's go ahead and let's put this down a little bit further over here, I think. We'll put it down, and you can press Z, you can hold Z to kind of rotate it, and we'll put that down like right there, like that. I've put it a little bit further away from the path than Rocktopus, because we do want to get quite the queue going for this thing. Otherwise, like the problem we had with the Rocktopus, there's going to be a queue that fills up and people are going to get annoyed and they're going to walk away. So let's go ahead and let's put our entrance down right about, you know, we'll put it down like right there, and then we'll put the exit down over here. It does a pretty good job of showing you all the stuff you have to do to get your ride up and running. We'll put the exit there, and then we need to connect the entrance to a path. So we do need to set up this the queue here. So I'm going to make it kind of a little zigzaggy. I'm going to kind of move this down a little bit. I don't want the length. So, you know what? I'm going to undo what I just did. You can press Control Z and Control Y to undo and redo certain things, but I don't want to quite go 5 at a time. So I'm going to kind of try and run this and make it a bit of a zigzag. So we'll have it go straight line. You can also press Select Grid, and that's going to kind of snap it to this grid here. So you can see it's going to make it real easy to snap to the grid, which makes it a lot easier to get a nice looking path, because I am really bad at making these paths look good if I try and use the freeform tool. But you know what? We'll have it look something like that. We do need to connect this to a path, so can I do it like... I might have to deselect the grid here real quick and do, yeah, something like that. There we go. So it's right at this intersection here. As soon as you get up, you can walk over to Insanity. We do also have to set up a normal path. You want to make sure you don't use a queue. We'll use a normal path here. We'll keep in theme with the rest of the park, which is using like this red brick path. And we'll set up a little path that will make it a bit thinner, I think. Let's close this menu real quick. Actually, no. We'll keep it, yeah, you know, we will make it a little bit thinner here. We'll run this out, and I think we'll snap to grid again, just to make it a little bit straighter, like that. Deselect the grid, and then just connect that up at the end there, Like so. That'll do. It's a little bit, it looks a little iffy. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it will work for now. And then finally, if we come on over to Insanity, we can go ahead and we can open the ride up. Like so. There are a couple of other things we can do. Under sequence here, you can see you can, in fact, you can't do it while the ride's open. And in fact, if I turn it off, you can change the sequence of the ride. You can change entirely how the ride works. So you can add new animations in. You can take stuff away. So if the ride's taking too long and the queue's getting really long, you can lower the ride duration. And if there's a really short queue, or if people aren't enjoying the ride enough, or they don't think it's worth the money you're charging, you can add more animations. You can make the ride last longer, and maybe like focus on the exciting ones if you'd really want to. If you do add animations and you do change it, you do have to do a test run. I don't think we have to do a test run because we know it works because we've just kind of built the pre-built one. So we'll put that there. There are also a bunch more customization options. So you can see here we can change the color of the ride if we want to. We can make it like a red and like, I don't know, green. We can make it a really horrible looking red and green one if we really want to. Look at that thing. Oh my goodness, that looks horrific. But you know what? We're going to keep it. You can also select which music you want to go on the ride. You can also, if you really want to, add music to your music folder and then bring it in. You can see here, my document /frontier. You can put your own music into a folder and then use that music for the ride, which is pretty cool as well. But for now, the ride is working as expected. It's been given a default ticket price of $7. These guys seem pretty willing to pay $7 to go on this ride. We might even be able to bump that up a little bit, maybe to $10. If the queue gets too long here, we might also have to extend the queue because it looks like already it's getting pretty full. And speaking of which, if we go over to overview, actually, is it under operation? Yeah. We can change the minimum wait time and the maximum wait time. So let's have a look here. You can see right now, most of the ride is actually empty because this guy didn't wait long enough before starting the ride. And so what we can do is we can up the minimum wait time to 90 seconds, which means from the time that the first person gets on the ride, how long does this guy wait before starting the ride? What he did just then is the first person got on, and then a minute later, he started the ride. And if we up that a little bit to 90 seconds, that means he's going to wait just a little bit longer before starting the ride, which means more people can get onto the ride, and which means that the queues are going to go down significantly faster. Maximum waiting time is the maximum time he's going to wait before he starts the ride. So even if people are still coming in, if they're being really slow, after just under 2 minutes, I'll change that. After exactly 2 minutes, he's going to start the ride no matter what. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit play again. Down here, you can see we can enable Priority Pass, which is basically a fast lane for people who decide to pay for it. So if we were to go ahead and place a Priority Pass down, we could put the entrance like right, I kind of want to put it on this corner here, but it's not working. So we'll put it right there, and then we'll put the Priority Pass exit all the way up here. And apparently that closed the ride because everyone just left, but that's fine. Let me pause real quick. And then what we can do is we can go ahead. Let's see if I can snap to grid here. Can I do that? I kind of can't. Okay, so let's kind of bend this round, and then we'll snap to grid. So we'll have this continue on around here like this, and then we'll have it bend. Oh, I don't like that. We'll have it bend upwards. There we go. Can we snap to grid? Yes, there we go. We'll have this bend upwards and continue on all the way along, and then up, and then we'll deselect the grid, and we'll have it bend round into here. So now, if you're one of the people who paid, I think, the ridiculous amount of $40, let me check here. Yeah, if you paid $40 to get the Priority Pass, which is insane right now because there's only one ride that supports it, but if somebody does pay $40, they will get access to this ride, which is now open again. So these people will most likely loop back around. Some of them might. Anyway, let's speed things up. Yeah, a couple of people. No one's going back in. That's crazy. But people are still coming onto the ride. People are still wanting to get on it. From what I've played so far, most people don't use the Priority Pass lane. Right now, it's because it's a ridiculously priced at $40. Information booths are required to sell Priority Pass tickets. We can't sell it right now, so this was a little bit of a waste of money, but I kind of just wanted to show you how that worked. And so if someone did want to pay a little bit extra, they could skip the queue and jump right around here, which can be a bit of a moneymaker later on down the line. How are we doing in terms of people this time? Still not too many. It does kind of fill up quicker once the queue starts to get longer. This is its first run since reopening after we put the Priority Pass down, and so it's not going to be at its fullest, but there we go. Many guests are thirsty. This is something else you kind of have to worry about a little bit there. We did make a monthly profit of $6,000, which is nice, and we're almost at the 800 guests required to unlock this first gold star here. You can see we have built the 2 rides, so we only need to get 16 more guests in order to make that first objective, but as well as rides, you can also build shops and facilities over here. You can see we can get food shops, drink shops, gift shops, toilets, first aid, ATMs if people want to draw money out. We can get ticket booths, all kind of stuff. We are going to start by putting down, let's put down like a village shop. Actually, we got like a pirate theme going, so let's go with the drink shack. And let's put that, like, over here somewhere. You do want to be careful when putting these down, because much like with the rides, if the queue is too long for a drink shack, people aren't going to go to it. So if you put it, like, right here, the queue is not going to be very long, but if you put it over here, it gives them a little bit of place to kind of walk up to, if that makes sense. And I found that people are much more likely to walk and stay in line for a shop if there's a bit of a queue, whereas if the queue is kind of on this main path here, they're not going to stick around for it. So we'll put that there, and then do we have like a food shack that we could put down? Burger store, what we got, chief beef, I don't, you know what, let's put down like pirate shop. Here we go. Let's put down the pirate shop. Let's rotate this. You can also press Z just to do like straight 90-degree rotations if you want as well, or you can hold Z and then move the mouse to kind of do these fine rotations like that. And we'll put down a food shop right about there. And if we hit play, right away you'll see people like flocking to these places because people instantly want drinks. And look at this, they're all kind of walking away. It looks like they actually don't queue up that much then, I guess. Let's put another drink shop down, I guess, like right on the other side. We'll put one down over here as well. We'll put one down. Ooh. We did it! We got our first objective complete. We have 805 people in our park, and we got our cash flow. It's 13,272, which is pretty good. I think the final objective is to acquire 15,000. Oh, I thought we might be able to do that fairly easy. It looks like these might change, actually, because I thought that the hard objective was originally get $10,000 in a month, but it looks like it's just make $15,000, which we're actually very close to being able to do. Look at this. These drink shops are flipping packed. People are really thirsty right now, apparently. And just like with the rides, the drink shops, you can customize. You can change the names. You can change the prices of stuff. You can see right now we've got the strawberry shake, vanilla shake, and chocolate shake. You can add extras to the shakes to make them more enticing. So we could throw like marshmallows. We could throw a lot of marshmallows onto our strawberry shake and make them worth more money. We could then bump the price up to like $6 if you want to do that. For now, I'm going to leave them at $5. We're not going to micromanage too much stuff just yet, especially not in this little campaign mission. If we start doing like our own park on the challenge mode, we might start to get into micromanaging a little bit more, but for now we'll do that. And now we've built all these drink shops, we should definitely look into getting some toilets up as well. Now the crazy thing is, oh look at this, we can get a beautiful toilet shack as well. Let's put that like right, where can I put this? Oh, the front's here, there we go. Okay, we'll put that like right about there. Look at that, beautiful. The crazy thing about the toilets is you can actually charge for the toilets as well. If you look over here, you can charge people to go to the toilet, which is just kind of ridiculous. I have never personally been to a place that charges for use of the bathroom, but if we were getting a little strapped on cash, we could go ahead and do that. And you can see that all of those milkshakes are causing a couple of queues here as well, which is to be expected. And now we've got all this stuff down, we can also go to scenery. We can actually just kind of build stuff in and around the areas here. We can put like a palm tree down in the middle there just to make the park look a bit nice. You know, there's a ton of stuff you can do. Like all this stuff around here is buildable. You can put down all these trees, you can put on these little islands. I think if we go to terrain, you can put down like water and stuff. You can build the terrain up and down. There's some really fine detailed stuff in terms of what you can build here. And you can tell it was a priority for them. I actually got a key for this game probably like 2 or 3 months ago. It was a long time ago. But when I got the key originally, it was only sandbox mode. There was no money or management involved in it. So you can tell they spent a lot of time kind of working on being able to make the place look good and then kind of added in the management aspects afterwards, but they still work really well. And one thing that I bet people are complaining about over here is that the queue looks boring. You can see if we look usually, yeah, down here, oh, queue scenery is actually 100%. That's probably because we added in these new buildings around it, but sometimes one thing people do complain about is that the queue doesn't look good. There's nothing fun to look at while they're in the queue. I guess right now they've got these cannons going off over by Building 4, which is called Chief Beef 137, which is probably bringing up the scenery score there quite nicely. Did we complete the objective there? We did. We completed the acquire $15,000 objective. So all we need to do now is build 2 more rides and get our guest numbers up to 1,100, which shouldn't be too hard whatsoever. But before we do that, what I was going to say is we can go over to scenery and we can get all kinds of stuff. One thing we should definitely get is a bin of some kind, because the bin is going to stop rubbish piling up on the floor. You can see already our janitor is doing a pretty good job of cleaning it up, but if we just put down some bins, people are much less likely to drop all this trash on the floor. So you do want to make sure as we go, you can see especially over here, that you kind of put bins down just kind of all over the place. That one is pretty much in the middle of the path, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it works. So we'll put these down. We'll try and encourage people to throw their rubbish in the bin, and then every so often the janitor will go around and empty those out as time goes on. We can also get like benches if we wanted to as well, and we can put these down just kind of around the place. You know, if you want to sit down with your milkshake or you want to watch people who are on the ride, you can do that. And you can really make the park look nice. You can get into some really fine details and make some really nice looking stuff. Look, people are already sitting on them. I want to put 2 down there, but that's fine. I guess we can get rid of that one. Oh, we can't. They're sat on it. I want to get rid of it. I can't. All right, that's fine. Many guests are thirsty still, which is real crazy. But I'm not going to focus on that too much. I'm going to try and focus on completing these objectives and moving on to the next career mode mission. So let's go to paths here. Let's extend this out a little bit. You can see they've kind of got a bit of a dirt path down, kind of showing you where you kind of could extend to if you really wanted to. Let's bump this out. I think it's to 6. Is that what we've got right now? That looks about right. We'll extend this out and around like so, and we will get another ride down. So what should we go with? Let's go with Wild Blue. These 2, Wild Blue and Insanity, are kind of the big ones that you can throw down that are like this, like crazy ones. And then there's also like, you know, teacups, and then the Carousel, which are more like these ones over here, kind of smaller rides that the families will like more than kind of the adults and the teens that are coming around. Also, before we do that, we should go over to, I think, research and start looking at researching some new stuff. So you'll notice that there isn't a whole lot of rides, and there aren't any coasters right now or any track rides, and the number of like shop facilities and stuff we have is not massive. If we go to ATMs, for example, there are no ATMs that we can build. The reason for that is that you unlock those through research. You can start new research, and right now we can research a new coaster, a new family ride, or a new facility, and as we go on, we can research more stuff and expand our theme back out. What we'll do, we'll research a new coaster. So you can specify how much you want to spend on it per month, anywhere from 1 to 3,000, and you can see down here that it tells you how long it's going to take. Right now, it's going to take 89 days to complete this research, but if we bump that up to 3,000 per month, it's going to complete in 44 days, which I think we can handle because we are making quite a bit of money right now. We made a bunch of money last month. The monthly profit is at 2,500. We might want to lower that to maybe like 2,000 instead of 3,000 if we start to lose money. But while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and let's build Wild Blue. We'll put it like over here somewhere like this. I'm not being too careful about where I put things, trying to make it look too nice, because I don't want to get too attached to this specific theme park, because we are going to kind of move on to the next one pretty quickly here. I mostly just want to use this to give you guys an idea of what the game's like, and so that when we start to build our own theme park, we can really get into the nitty-gritty and try and make it look as good as possible. So we'll do the exact same thing here that we did before. We'll get a path going, and I think, again, just like we did before, I will snap to grid just to make it look that little bit nicer. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do. You can have your paths kind of go underneath other rides, especially when you're making your own roller coasters. You can put like archways over it. You can build stuff nearby to make it look absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and deselect the grid here and connect that up like right about there. And then let's do the exact same thing we did before. We'll close this up for now, and we will connect this up with a path along. Oh my goodness, that is massive. Let's make that a little bit smaller here. We'll connect that up to our path there, and then we'll open it. Kapow! So you can see this one has a scenery rating of 17%, which is something people will complain about once they got on the ride. Looking at Insanity 7, I'm not queuing that long to go on Insanity 7. Some people are just not going to want to queue that long. You can see right now it's kind of flickering between I want to go on Insanity 7 and I'm not queuing that long. So for the most part, it looks like people are pretty happy with Insanity 7. And if we go to finance, you can see that lifetime profit is at a loss. It does look like it's losing us money. So we might want to bump up the price here to maybe like $8.50 or something. Not $83. Jesus flipping, that would be ridiculous. Let's go like $8.50, and we'll see if that starts to make a profit. But over here, people are queuing up already for Wild Blue 2, which is great. We are getting more and more people drawn to our theme park. We're almost actually at that 1,100 that we need in order to complete the hard objective there. All we need to do now is build, what, one more? Yeah, we need to build one more ride, and we are good to go. So you know what? Let's grab our rides here. Let's throw down the teacups. We can put those, you know, we'll put them like right here. These are going to have quite a long queue as well, but we'll put the entrance down right about there. We'll put the exit down, I guess, probably like real close to it, because we can't really have it go anywhere else. We can't. I was going to put it like here and have it run back, but we can't really do that. So I guess, you know what? Can we move the entrance? Yeah, let's put the entrance a little bit further that way, and let's put the exit right about there. So we'll connect the entrance to the path like this. We'll make this one nice and long, which will go length up to 5, because I'm not really too bothered about zigzagging this one. There we go. That is silver complete. Now all we need to do is get the number of people in our park up to 1,100. But let's quickly go and make this thing actually accessible by putting down an exit that goes all the way along. And I should probably like increase this to 5 or something so I can actually build it pretty quick here. There we go. And just like before, for now, we'll just go ahead and we'll hit open. We're charging $4.50. Again, we could tweak stuff like the color and all kinds of stuff to make it a little bit more appealing or a little bit more in theme with the rest of our park. But for now, we'll just throw it down, and now we're just waiting and trying to get people to come to our park. We're trying to get up to 1,100. The best way we can probably do that is under park management. We can start a new marketing campaign. Let's go ahead and let's go with, do you want to do like a cereal box advert? I always see Alton Towers adverts on cereal boxes, which is a theme park here in the UK, by the way, for those who are unfamiliar with it. So we'll do that. We won't put auto renew on, but we'll put a cereal box advert out there. We'll try and get more people in. And you know what? We'll also... You know what, we'll do a viral video ad. Sure, why not? We're all about viral videos. 30 days remaining. We're spending $1,000. I don't know if that's per month or per day, but we're spending that on getting people into the park. And we're almost there, actually. We're almost at 1,100 already, which is kind of crazy. And there we go. We've done it. We've completed all the objectives within this little campaign mission. And that's kind of the basics of Planet Coaster. There's a bunch of stuff you can get into. Like I say, you can get really deep into the numbers and the mechanics in this game, and you can really kind of tweak things to make them look nicer. But for now, I think we're going to wrap up today's episode there. That is a basic look at Planet Coaster. Next episode, we're going to come back, and I'm going to save this real quick. Like, save this as, we'll call this YouTube 1. There we go. We'll save the park, and we'll exit out to the main menu real quick. And next episode, we'll look at doing the second of the career mode options. If we scroll, actually, let me go back real quick, and let me again tweak the UI. The thing is, with the UI on the main menu, it looks too big, but then in game, it looks too small. So let me apply that and confirm. And if we go back to career mode here, we've got a few more here. We've done the first one. There were 3 more. They do get progressively harder. That one was fairly easy to complete. And so next time, we'll come back. We'll see if we can complete all of the objectives in the slightly harder Princess Amella's Fairy Tale theme park. I don't know what the objectives are going to be like in there, but we'll see if we can do it. But with that, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Planet Coaster there. As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to like it, especially with the first episode. If you did enjoy the video, really hitting that like button does help out a lot. Lets me know that you guys like what you see. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.